Get loads of dust at me. It's why you don't go outside. Real world, don't get dust inside.
Evening all, Marcus here, back again with another video. Back again with a sort of related Oculus Go video. So obviously if you've got an Oculus Go, you like a little bit of 3D content. Usually it comes in 360 or 180 degrees these days, but I think there's still merit in the old standard side-by-side stereoscopic 3D stuff. You know, normal sort of 16:9. I think that's really great. And I think there's a lot of value in it. I really enjoy 3D movies like that, and it's fun to create stuff. So I thought in this video I'd show you quickly, in a slightly different environment than I'm usually in, sort of, you know, what my setup is for recording stereoscopic 3D, and sort of the cameras I've got, and what I kind of think is the best. And we'll sort of test them, and I'll put some examples up and stuff. So let's get into it. First off, I'm going to swap these glasses for normal ones. These are the red and blue ones. If you've got play this on PC, you might be able to watch it in red and blue sort of anaglyph mode. But if you've got a 3D TV and you watch this on, you should be able to turn that 3D mode on. Or obviously if you watch this in your Oculus Go, go to the browser, make it full screen, and then you should get some options for making it side-by-side 3D, and I'll make sure it's all lovely and ready for you. Just to start, the camera that I'm filming this on now is a dual GoPro Session setup. So it's two GoPro Session Hero 5s. So they can film up to 4K, but I got these both set at 1080p, 25 frames per second in what they call linear mode, which means it kind of takes away kind of that fisheye view and kind of makes it a bit more normal sort of thing. So I've got those kind of set up on a rig. I'll show you the rig when I do the other cameras, and you can kind of see what it looks like. The bonus to that is GoPros look great. You kind of see this all look super sharp, super nice and smooth, nice colors, nice everything sort of thing. And that's the great thing about the GoPros. You can pretty much use any two cameras together, and we just kind of put them side by side on a rig, click them together and try and do some 3D. The only downside to that is, unless they're absolutely spot on in the timeline, it can kind of cause ghosting. Now, to be fair, as long as you kind of shoot in a sort of decent frame rate, you should be fine. As I say, I'm shooting this at 25 frames per second, so there is going to be probably that maybe slight desync, because just because it's 25 frames per second doesn't mean it's the same 25 frames per second for both cameras. You can imagine that one's maybe half, you know, their frames are like that, and it's like half a frame into each other sort of thing, depending on how they start. So you've got to kind of wing it and hope. But I'd probably use something like, I use a dog clicker, where is it, here, just to kind of sync up the sound a little bit between all the different cameras I use and that sort of thing. And it's a nice sharp sound. Plus I don't feel so much of a wally sort of saying something or clapping my hands or something like that, especially when I'm out in public like I am now. There's all sorts of people wandering around in this park. But let's get into the two cameras that I've got here. So this first one was given to me by Dazbow, one of the great guys in my community. It's a, what's it called? It's called a FinePix Real 3D W1. Now there is a 3D W3, which is a slightly upgraded version of this, but this camera came out in 2008. So it's a 10-year-old camera. And I'll be honest, it shows its age, but it's still a 3D camera, so it takes photos and it takes video. It only takes 640 video, so not 1080 or even 720. But you know, for what it is and how much you can pick it up for, so you can pick it up obviously probably sub 100 quid these days. It's probably not bad. And then this is my camera that I've had for a long while. This camera I've had for about 7 years. This is the camera about 2011. And this is the Panasonic DMC 3D one. Now this does shoot in 1080. 1080i doesn't really make a massive difference. It does shoot sort of semi-decent quality, and this is what you see as my face cam in all the videos I've done so far. So if you've ever seen any of my Oculus Go videos where I've been playing games in 3D and that's my face cam, it's been using this camera. It's all built in, so the same with this camera as well. The file, the two cameras, you'll sort of see if I pull this sort of front down, it has two lenses. So it records both side by side straight to the one file, so it's kind of sorted. Whereas the GoPro Sessions that I've got here, obviously I get two files. I get a left and a right eye, and I need to sync them up and get them sorted in post. And I'm going to pause there because there's a Land Rover about to go past dragging something massive. All right, so this is my good little camera. I've had it, so as I say, had it about 7 years. It's done me proud. I haven't used it a lot. I guess the other thing with this, when both these cameras, when you take a photo, it records it in an MPO format, which pretty much nothing supports these days. Only pretty much my 3D TV supports it. But if I put this in the Oculus Go, the MPO files for the photos, it doesn't recognize them. It doesn't do anything with them. So what you do need to do is use some software to convert it into a side-by-side JPEG. And I'll put a link to that sort of bit of software and how to do that in the description down below if you do have one of these cameras or anything like that. So what I'll do now, I'll pop open this camera here, let it boot up. Both the cameras are kind of the same. They've both got kind of like a shutter that you pull down to to boot them up. Oh, is this not going to turn on? Can you sodding believe it? Can you sodding believe it? I've left the battery for this one at home. That's a shame. But I'll tell you what I will do. I will probably take some more photos with this in my garden when I get home. It won't be a proper side-by-side comparison to what's available here, but you'll get an idea sort of thing. But as I say, this is the oldest camera, so it's going to be the lowest quality anyway. So I'll say it's probably more interesting to see the comparison to this and this, which is my sort of go-to camera, than anything else. With this camera here, the Panasonic one, I've put little sort of like little microphone, little muffler things on top here, little soft things. They kind of cover the microphone, which helps sort of dampen any of the sort of wind noise. So you can potentially use it as a bit of a vlog camera. This is kind of my idea, is I kind of, you know, talk to it and that sort of stuff. But what I'll do, I'll boot it up now. So if I kind of just flip it open, you'll see the two lenses, and I'll take a picture of the camera we're looking at here. So ready, smile. So that's a 3D photo. Let's take another one from the other side. And let's take a little bit further away one, shall we? And one over there. Let's take a really close one as well. Obviously it's quite backlit because the sun's over there, so it's not going to be ideal, but there you go, you get an idea. And let's just record a little bit of video as well, so you can kind of see that. So here's the GoPro session camera rig setup. You can see I've got it on the tripod. This is what I use pretty much to record all my videos on. Actually, I use this tripod on my desk to put my main camera on, which is, just for info, a Sony AX53 is my normal camera. And there you go, you can kind of see the quality of this. Let's kind of scan around slowly, shall we? Pan back. With 3D stuff, I do find that you kind of have to be very sort of nice and gentle with it, because if it's too fast a movement, it can be quite disorientating, and you're going to get that sort of 3D sort of sickness sort of thing. So this will probably be a good 3D example with the tripod just here, and we'll end it there. So it now writes to the camera, so you can always get to the end sometimes and then it corrupts and you don't get the file like that, but you know, that doesn't happen too often, thankfully. So we've got some 3D photos in there, we've got some video footage. What I will do is I'll try and take a photo with this camera here, but the caveat to that is because it's two separate cameras, I've got no way of setting them off at exactly the same time, so I kind of have to wing it, that hopefully they'll line up, and if they don't line up properly, that nothing moves too much in the background to take a photo, but then you can at least kind of compare what they look like. And then we'll jump back home, I'll have a look at the footage that I've got. As I say, I'll take some footage with the other camera as well, and we'll have a little comparison. In the cool of the office. It's warm out there. The UK is going through a bit of a heat wave at the moment, and you know, I'm losing some hair at the moment. It's dangerous on my old noggin to get out there and get into too much sun, but there you go. So we tested the cameras. The WD1, the FujiFilm one, I did test that once I got home and put the actual battery in that I forgot, but it was pretty much a fail. When I put the footage into my editor and stuff and sort of synced it all up and tried to get it look right, it was impossible. The crosstalk between the images was terrible. It really kind of hurt your eyes sort of thing. Unless you were taking photos kind of at least a meter, 2 meters away, they were pretty much unusable. So the resolution was pretty low as well. The video footage, as I say, was only 640, so that's pretty much a done deal as well. And when I imported the footage, for some reason I only ever got one eye. I couldn't get two eyes side by side, so I couldn't actually get 3D footage out of this camera. I don't know if I was doing something wrong, I don't think I was, but I can't see many options in this camera for adjusting that sort of thing. So I don't know whether it's just because it's such an old camera, being what, the best part of what, 10, 11 years old. So, you know, it's old tech, but it's fun to play with. The good thing about this camera actually is it does come with a 3D screen. So you can actually see stuff on here. So the videos and the photos look quite good on the little 3D screen they had back here. But unfortunately, once you transfer them off, it's pretty much unusable. As I say, the camera that I'm filming on now, the Panasonic, great camera. I really enjoy that camera. As I say, it comes out at 1080i, as I say, but it does work really well, and I'm kind of impressed with it. So for an all-in-one camera, photos are decent quality, videos, you know, a little bit soft. It averages out about 18 megabits per second, so it's kind of a variable bit rate, so it's not kind of perfect, but you know, for what it is, an all-in-one package, records everything. The other thing that would make it better if it had an audio in jack, which it doesn't, but I do have the little sort of soft things on the top to kind of help kind of with the audio. It's not ideal, it does kind of peak quite harsh if you get too close, but it's something to kind of live with. I think I could maybe try using that as a vlog camera. The GoPros, also usually in this setup here, put them both in there, left and right eye. This probably produces the best results. The photos, I was actually quite surprised at how well they linked up for me literally just going click on both cameras at the same time. I guess if there was lots of movement going on and lots of people walking around, that wouldn't sync up at all. But for kind of like where I was, kind of still life stuff, it worked quite well, and you saw quite a lot of depth in there, I think, if you looked at it. Video footage obviously is much better on this camera. If you kind of compare this to the start of the video, that footage at the start of the video is much better than what we're seeing now. But you know, as I say, this is all in one. This is two cameras. With this one, you need to take both cards out, both cameras, make sure you get them the right way around, make sure you separate them and squash them and do all you need to do to organize it in your editor. Whereas with this camera, it's literally just take it straight out and use it. So, you know, it's kind of a quality of life versus quality. I mean, I'll be honest, if I'm setting up for some nice 3D stuff, I'll still definitely grab these cameras and use this, because I can crank this up to 4K each, or even sort of 2.7 and go 60 frames per second sort of thing. So it's kind of worth it, I think, to use these. But using the Lumix is a perfect option, and you'll see this a lot more in my videos. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this 3D test. Have you got a 3D camera? What do you use? What have you tried? I'd say these are the only three that I've got personally. And once again, thanks Daz for sending me this one for free, the WD1. Granted, it didn't work very well, but you know, thanks anyway, mate, it's appreciated. But let me know what 3D stuff you've got, what you've used. Do you like 3D stuff? You know, that's what I want to know as well, because I'd love to do more 3D stuff, because I think it really is great. It's something I really enjoy putting together as well, so just let me know. What I'm also playing around with as well is two 360 cameras. So these are two 2017 VR 360 cameras, and you can use these obviously for stereoscopic 360, so using both cameras in a full 360, or you can just shoot out one lens either side and make it an eye, so you can actually put together a 180 video with these. So stay tuned for a video about how to do that. It does work really well. It's really quite clever, and these things only cost like 100 quid each. A lot of people, if you go on Facebook and stuff, are selling these off because they get them free with their phones or whatever, and they never use them. And they're good little cameras, these ones. I like them. That's the end of that video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it if you didn't like it, but do let me know in the comments what I could do better for next time. I'll see what I can do. Enjoy the remarkables and hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you know next time I upload a video. And I'm gonna keep pointing at you because I like the 3D effect. Right, that's me done. I'm out. Have a virtual 3D high five.